Alright, moving on to the area of operation. Over here we have our terrain model. This is going to help us define our clearly define our area of interest in operations. And in the pink we have lakes. In the yellow we have mountains and hills. The brown we have roads and trails. In the green we have vegetations and forests. In the smaller pinks we have swamps. We don't have blue markers. So moving on to area of operations. For our northbound we have 80 northern, which can be seen over here. For our southbound we have 76 northern, right here, closer to Lake Frederick. For our eastbound we have 81st eastern, 81 eastern, which is right here on top of Maddock drop zone over here. And for the westbound we have 74 eastern. That is closer to Smith Clove Road, next to objective Abrams over here, which can also be seen over here. So we have our boundings. Now going to the area of interest. This entire terrain model is our area of interest. And we have the 1st 504th North Tobian Motorized Infantry, which is battalion, which is currently using the AOD as a staging group from which to launch limited attacks into AOB over here to enable further operations in AOB. Boom, we have an area of interest. For our CAS, we have the TPA. A TPA has SA-342 lemurs and Mi-35 hard echo attacks. Alright, so for the CAS, we have the TPA. The TPA has SA-342 lemur and Mi-35 M Hind E attack helicopters staged across the border within striking distance. The TPA wants to degrade USF rotary capabilities and ADA to employ attack helicopters further south as the 77 Northern over here. For the artilleries, they have 120 mm placed at Ivio Mountainville. It says that those sets can range targets as far as south as 77, closer to Lake Frederick. For the reserves, a TPA can bring forward one motorized platoon from AOD over here, along with MSR AMI, and then move on ASRs and improve trails. All right. Pause it. All right. Moving on to the terrain. As I said, we have a very dense vegetation. So the numerous ponds, which we have over here in the tiny pinks, all over the AO, the numerous ponds, the lakes, the Lake Frederick, the Bull Pond, they're gonna provide resistant obstacles to dismount to dismount vehicle movements. Some hill features like the Boo Hill have gradients exceeding 40% that are also reserved as obstacles. For reinforcing, we have expert protective wire obstacles all over the objective. Over here, our objective Maddock. For our avenues of approach, we have the area consists of fire breaks. Area consists of fire breaks, gravel roads, as I indicated over here on my terrain model in brown, and high roads. That is the Smith Clove Road, which can be seen moving all the way through Lake Frederick. For the key terrain, we have the Boo Hill on this over here in yellow. Boo Hill right here. That's gonna be key terrain because it has 40%. It has 40% gradient. It has 40% gradient. So it's gonna be a really important feature for us. Observations and fields of fire. For observations and fields of fire, the area is mountainous, like the Black Cap Mountain. So the area is mountainous and forested all over the place, with numerous ponds and lakes, and restricts observations and limits. Fields of fire over here. And that's it for terrain. Moving on, I'm going to be talking about the tax organizations. So for the tax organization, we have the companies organized as follows. We have first platoon is going to be the supporting moving on to weather. So for weather consideration, so prior to the mission, 2 days, it's gonna rain heavily at 100% and 90%. So it's gonna be really slippery on the day of the mission. That is on the 6th and then the 7th. On the 6th and the 7th, it's gonna be 10% rain and a 25% rain, respectively. So PLs and squad leaders use this, add this in your all right, moving on to the weather. For the weather, it's gonna be 2 days prior to the mission. There's gonna be a heavy rain at 90% and 100%. So it's gonna be very slippery and swampy. So on the day of the mission, on the 6th and on the 7th, it's gonna be light rain, that's 10% and 25%. Moving on to the enemy. For composition, the enemy TPA company in AOBE consists of 4 platoons. Each rifle platoon is equipped with 4 CSK 141S, 6 QLG 10s, 3 QBU 88s, and 3 DZJ OBs. And the remaining enemy soldiers carry QBZ 85s, 95s. The weapons platoon has 4 sections. One section includes, okay, fuck it, forget that. I ain't reading all this shit. Moving on to the enemy composition. The enemy TPA company in AOBE consists of 4 platoons. Each platoon has rifles equipped with 4 CSK 141s. One section has 2 60mm mortars. One section has 3 HJ12s, Red Arrows 12s. And one section has an Hotel Quebec 6 Delta, which is located west of Maddock Drop Zone. Each soldier has a night vision device, and the key leaders carry dismounted radios. For the strength, the battalion S2 supplies the battalion S2 suspects the enemy company in Ayoubé is at 60% strength, with each rifle platoon reduced at strength, with each rifle platoon reduced to 2 squads, with the weapon platoon sections at full strength. No key leaders within the formation have been EKIA. For disposition, the enemy decisive operation consisting of 1 platoon is currently located at objective Maddock in the vicinity of Whiskey Lima 753773, tasked with securing the company command post SO1, consisting of 1 platoon is currently located in the vicinity of objective Abrams, Whiskey Lima 774 743 762 over here. Boom. Tags. Okay, so that's it. And then they're tagged with objective Maddock over there, which is intersecting of MSR AMY and Smith Clove Road over here. Sorry. So for recent activities, the enemy company is currently securing objective Maddock. They're currently securing objective Maddock, allowing their first 504th MIBN to build combat powers in Ayoubé for an eventual counterattack against West Point. So they're right here. Alright, so capabilities, no change. For the most likely course of action, the enemy secures company command post on the west side of objective Maddock, that is over here, and it's gonna disrupt our mission. For most dangerous course of action, they're gonna consolidate at the company level. Alright, moving on to friendly. So for friendly forces, I'm gonna go straight to the tax organization because that's what our friendly forces include. So for a tax organization, the company is organized as follows. We have first platoon, that is the shaving operations. So first platoon is gonna be over here, the shaving operation. They're gonna breach the enemy obstacle near objective Bull. So objective Bull is right here. First platoon is gonna they're gonna breach the obstacle over here, allowing second platoon to conduct their mission. And second platoon, that is our platoon, we're gonna be the decisive operation. Our task is to seize objective Maddock over here, with the purpose of preventing enemy from regrouping and rebuilding combat powers in Ayoubé over here. And we have third platoon. Third platoon is gonna be the shaving operation 2, and their task is to block enemy forces near objective Frederick over here. And then finally we have the HQ, that is the supporting the Shaven Operations 3, and their task is to secure mortar firing points. This is to ensure a sustained indirect fire support across the company AO. So for the key task, we have move undetected to assault positions. You gotta keep in mind weather, because there's gonna be a lot of rain prior. Enemy is gonna be unable to influence West Point. That's part of the key task. And posture defensively following actions on objective for counterattack. Cross-coordinated with 46 infantry if friendly units plan to conduct operations in AODIR. For the end state, the enemy should be unable to influence LZ on objective Maddock. And for friendly, we have all friendly personnel and equipment accounted for and posted for following on operations. For the terrain, landing zone LZ on objective Maddock, secured and usable for follow-on operations. And for civilian consideration, we have civilians should be avoided on the battlefield to minimize civilian casualties on collateral damage. So the civilians are mostly to be expected at the Maddock drop zone over here. So our operations should be limited closer to the Maddock drop zone. And at this point, I'm gonna be moving on. I'm done with the situation. I'm gonna give the podium, the stage,